All right, with a little left time we have, we are going to create a little pear, and you're going to need a clean piece of paper, your brush, and your paint palette. We're gonna start out first using the wet on wet technique. So you're gonna load your brush with water, and I'm gonna start out first by just painting a circle with the water. The bottom of the pear is a circle. Fill in that circle, make sure you get a nice puddle, and then you're going to create an oval shape above to connect into a pear shape. And you might not be able to see mine. Let's see if I can hold it up to the light. There you go. Now, once I get that done, I'm gonna kind of mix a little yellow green over here that I'm gonna use. And then I'm gonna add some green to it. The more color you can put in, the brighter it's gonna be. The more water you put into it, the lighter it's gonna be. So once I get that part, I'm only gonna hit the edges. Notice I did not use a pencil to outline the pear. That's because you'll see the pencil lines. So you wanna just try to use the water as your guide. So I'm just touching the color where I want it to go. Now on a pear, it does have a little circle, so I'm still trying to kind of use that shape as I'm laying the color down. So that's my light green. Now I'm gonna come in on the right side. We're gonna pretend this is kind of like the dark side, and the light is coming in from this angle. So this will be the lighter edge. So I'm gonna use yellow kind of as my light color. See how it just spreads right into the paper? And since the color isn't on the middle, it automatically gives it a 3D look when the edges are darker. If you get too much water and it starts to puddle and it's not moving, you can always just soak up a little bit of that. All right, sorry for that. Now I've got the yellow on this side. I'm gonna go back in now and add a little bit more green into the left side and start making those colors more vibrant. Notice how I'm not really adding color at this point. I put it down, but I'm actually moving it around. So you can use the brush to move that around. You could also dry your brush off. And if you let's say that's a little too much, you can just lay your brush on top and use it like a sponge. So there's a lot of ways to use the brush to make the colors do what you want. You just have to, really just practice. All right, now I want some contrast, so I'm gonna actually bring in some brown. But you don't want a lot, just a little. So I'm gonna water that down a little bit. And I'm one of those where I feel like you can always get darker with it, but you can't, if you start out too dark, it can ruin it really fast. So I'm gonna just hit this one side. I might come up here where the stem is, make me a little line, and I'm gonna stop right here so it does kind of spread. I kind of like that it spreads a little bit, because if you notice when you have an actual pear, there are spots and things like that on the pear. All right, so you can't really see the edges as much. Once it dries, it's gonna get even lighter. So I'm gonna go back in and start adding just a few more touches. So I just put that color down. I cleaned my brush, and now I dried it off a little bit, and I'm just gonna move that color around. So when the paper's wet like that, before you start putting color on, it's so much easier to manipulate the paint. Where if you put the color on from the beginning, you're gonna stain that paper, and you're not gonna be able to change it so much. All right. Sometimes you can, ooh, see, I went crazy with that. Watercolor paper is your friend, because now I can just fix it. Sometimes adding a little blue into it can be nice. No color on that brush. I'm using the brush now to just move the color around. Make sure you're not over blending. You want to take advantage of those watercolor properties and let us see the little pools of water and how it spreads naturally. Those are the things that you learn to appreciate when you get better at the process. All right, I'm gonna put a little bit more yellow back into this green. Brown took over a little bit up there at the top. This one I did yesterday. See how the water, you can actually see where the water puddled? See, those are things that I love about watercolor. After it's all done, it even looks different once it's dried. So if the light's coming from this angle, we need a shadow. Make sure that your shadow is horizontal. It's a table, which is horizontal. It doesn't go vertical. So I'm gonna make a really light wash. Sometimes with shadows, I like to do blues and purples with a touch of black. You don't want a lot of black because it can go crazy. See how light, I don't know if you can see that, nope. So really pale. Again, it's easier to go darker. If you want, clean your brush and just put the water down first. Put your color in there and go to the top. That's that light gradient we practiced earlier, where the top edge is darker and then it just kind of spreads. Sometimes I'll take it and then I'll bring the water here and then I'll just connect them and it'll slowly spread. Very subtle. All right. Keep playing around with that and practice with those techniques, and good luck.